Before, I want to go deeper into the animal part because I think that's where you and I connected as well.
Right.
But before that, you brought up this whole thing about privilege. And I think very rarely do you first find people who understand that they have privileges
Right.
and acknowledge it. First understand, then acknowledge, and then stand up
Right.
for the others, right?
Right.
It comes down to your earlier conversation about how you feel about it as well,
Right.
How did you go about that? Because it's not an easy journey, first of all, to understand the privileges you've got, then
Right.
to acknowledge that,
Right.
and to then say, okay, I'm going to stand up now.
So, it's not an understanding that happened when it was happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like suddenly you have changed so much and you're like, okay, what happened? It's a slow thing that you realize. And the more, I think during COVID, I used to first only work with animals. Like I was helping dogs, I was doing 100 other things. And one day, because of an interview that happened on TV, I got a call saying there's this lady who couldn't breastfeed her baby and she needed food. And I had a few food kits in my car, and at night around 10:30 I just drove up to her place. She really didn't expect me to go there, and when I did, she broke down, and I even now see I'm gonna cry because it was hard. It was hard for me to watch it. Forget what she was going through. The pain that I have is very different from the pain she is going through. She broke down, and I couldn't eat for the next 3 days. I was sitting at my table just looking at food and crying, saying, oh my God, I have no idea what people are going through, right?
Yeah.
It hurts. It's not something I was not prepared to handle this. And there were days when, during COVID, where the richest of people had all the money, everything, couldn't get a bed. Yeah. And I was arranging beds, and out of every 5 people I arranged a bed for, 2 used to die, you know? Every day, my mom had COVID, so she was quarantined. I wanted to escape from that. My uncle had COVID. We lost a family member, and there was so much happening. And for me to disappear from that space and help others was what I needed. And so I got involved in it so much. And then I got calls from crematorium saying the waiting list is for 18 hours. We don't know how to bury the body. And at the same time, you're looking at people who are dying, who don't even understand they've got COVID. When you start dealing with this, the shit gets real, right? And it's like every day is a gift. Yeah. The pain, I went through a lot. I was not prepared for it. I no one told me that. I mean, no one asked me to do it, first of all. I jumped in it and I went too deep to a space where I couldn't come out. And it was a good 3 months. And the number of deaths, number of people I have spoken to I don't even know is scary, right? And when you get out of this and you figure that the more detached you are from this, the more people you can actually help. And that detachment, that 1 month of trying to understand what happened, and I think that made me realize what I have. So every plant, every moment, every cup of coffee, every time I'm a little bit crying right now. Then I remember after that when I actually went on a set, I started crying. Even now I'm crying, but you know, that feeling, oh my God, I have this, you know, and I love it. I worship it. And that's when you sort of understand. And I know other girls, like I don't have to go too far, like my own set of people, my first circle, second circle, they don't address things probably the way I do. I have fought for it to an extent. I have been a rebel. I've been a horrible daughter sometimes. But it's something that you earn sometimes. There are 2 kinds of privileges that you get. One that you make for yourself, and the one that you come with. And we don't, like us, we're already 1% of the population. And the second you start understanding that, you understand anything in excess that you have in your life is actually poison. Be it, I don't know, food, money. I mean, we're also greedy there. And so I guess, I don't know, I think this time COVID really changed who I am. I don't want to stop cheering.
I'll get you
But
some
no, it's
tissues.
okay, I'm fine. I'm an actor, I'll like move on this. But, you know, it's interesting what it did to me as a person. I think I've grown 15 years. I have. Like, even when I look at relationships right now, I'm more compassionate towards my parents.
Yeah.
Right? I'm more forgiving towards everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that was an important journey to understand myself and everyone around me better. Okay.
No, I can relate with this, Samyukta, because around 4 years back, arrogance, right? I been working, doing good, and I said, I want to do a podcast. And I said, okay, what podcast? And I decided I'll do a podcast on transgenders in India. Because I always have been curious. Historically, there's so much relevance to transgenders, and now it's like the other side of the story in some ways, right? And this was when that 377 was passed out and all. And so I said, I want to do a podcast on transgenders. What does it take to be a transgender in India?
Right.
And I went with a lot of arrogance. I genuinely, I don't think I've talked about this, but there's so much arrogance, like, I'm going to help them. I'm going to help them.
Right. Make a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So I went there. First thing, they didn't want to talk to me.
Right.
Because it's a closed community. They've gone through so much. They didn't want to talk to me. And I was like, what the hell? Why? I'm doing them a help.
Right.
And
I'm doing
then
you a favor.
I'm doing, right? Like, it's all about me.
Right.
And then I met this alternate law firm, NGOs and all that. And through them, I got connected to 4 of them.
Right.
I cannot tell you, Samyukta, see, even now.
Goosebumps.
I cannot tell you the learnings I had.
Right.
It humbled me.
Yeah.
It grounded me. I have not been so clear about my privileges since then.
Right.
To a point where I can totally relate what you're saying about feeling someone else's pain.
Right.
Because it's impossible to imagine the journey one goes through.
You can't.
Right?
Right. I was so wrong in so many places where I said, oh, I'm trying to help. I used to, if you see my previous interviews, the way I've spoken about helping children, helping people is very different from the way it is right now.
Want tissue?
No, I'm
What
good.
else?
See, my tears don't fall. It just like goes out.
I noticed that. I was like,
so it's an actor thing. Then my dad will be like, oh, tears, too much. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, back. Yeah.